Moving towards chapter 23. The name of chapter is Review and Appraisal of Individual Performance. In how performance of individuals can be checked, can be appraised. There are two terms, performance assessment and performance appraisal. Performance assessment and performance appraisal. Performance assessment is a process of checking performance as per the target. Performance assessment is a process of checking performance against a target. Mean whether actual performance is as per defined target or not. And this can be done for the whole organization, for all the employees, either for a department, either for the whole organization, or for an individual. Is just checking whether the target has been met or not. Performance appraisal is a term that is used for particular individual. While promoting him, we are checking his performance, whether he has performed better, he is eligible for promotion, he is eligible for pay rise or not. So if we are just checking performance without promoting, without considering promotion, without considering pay rise, just checking whether target has been met or not, that will be called performance measurement, performance assessment. While performance appraisal is a different, is done for an employee while giving him pay rise or while promoting him. So what is performance assessment? Is a regular and systematic review of performance and the assessment of the potential with the aim of producing action program to develop both work and individual. I mean, whether we need to make changes for the employee training or whether we need to make a change for the work or not. Obviously, if as per target everything has been met, there is no need to change. If not met, this means changes are required. It aims to improve the efficiency of organization by ensuring the individual employee are performing to the best of their abilities and developing their potential for improvement. I mean, just checking whether employees are working efficiently or not. Typically, assessing employees' performance involves measuring both qualitative factors and quantitative factors. I mean, we measure performance in both quantitative terms and qualitative terms. Quantitative mean numbers. Qualitative mean other qualitative factors rather than numbers. In terms of numbers, how many units that employee has produced or how much chargeable time they have built. Mean, if suppose an accountant is working part-time on hourly basis and he is charging to the organization per hour rate. If he has performed his work in 10 hours or 8 hours. Obviously, if he has performed his work 8 hours, organization have to pay him for 8 hours. If he has completed work in 10 hours, this means organization have to pay him for 10 hours. So measuring units produced or time taken to produce the task is called quantitative measurement. What are the qualitative measurements other than numbers, like whether his attitude is positive or negative towards work, whether he take interest in the work or not, whether his motivation level is high or low. These are called qualitative factors. It is crucial that valid criteria are used when assessing employee performance. There should be a proper criteria against which performance can be checked. This is made more complex because most jobs have many dimensions, meaning that the assessment must look at a number of different criteria in order to accurately reflect the employee's performance. I mean, there are different nature of jobs, and according to nature of job, organization should set a criteria Mean what should be measured, what should be checked in performance measurement. Assessment criteria may include the following. Mean while assessing performance, what management need to consider? Volume of work produced, whether the required target has been met within time period. Evidence of work planning, mean what was the work plan, whether the work has been performed as per plan. Personal time management, mean how much time they have taken to produce the work, and effectiveness of the work under pressure, mean whether they have performed under pressure or not. Under pressure mean in case of emergency, whether they have produced within the time or not. What you need to assess knowledge of the work, mean whether employee is having appropriate skills and knowledge to do the work or not. So gained through experience, gained through training courses, gained through employment, whether he has worked as per the trained knowledge or not. What you need to assess quality of a work. Quality of work means whether he has produced high quality goods and services or not, level of analytical ability, level of technical knowledge, accurately judgment exercise, mean appropriating applying knowledge, and cost effective or not. You need to check management skills. If you are going to measure performance of any managers, you need to check his management skill, whether how he has dealing, he is dealing with the lower employees appropriately or not. What is his communication skill, whether he is communicating appropriately, whether he is making a decision on time or not. So management skills like communication skills, motivational skills mean trying to motivate others below him or not, providing training and development to lower level, and delegating skills mean whether he is doing all tasks by himself or by delegating the responsibility to other people. Who is a good manager? Who is solving problem through other people rather than by himself everything. And you need to check personal skills. Personal skills mean his decision making capability, flexibility, mean in case of need whether he switch from one task to another or not, adaptability whether he adopt new things or not, assertiveness mean making bold decision in time of emergency, team involvement mean involving a team into the work and motivating the team or not. So when assessing performance, what management need to check: volume of work produced, knowledge of the work in employees, quality of the work produced. For managers, checking management skills and personal skills. There are four-step process of employee performance assessment by the organization. I mean, how performance can be assessed? There are four steps through which management can assess the performance. First, they need to set the target. I mean, define target, define goal objective that employee need to achieve. And then while employee working, like you have defined 1 year target for the employee. So the year when employee is working, you need to monitor his performance. So that if he is not working proper, you can guide them so that at the end he can meet the target. And then at the end, you need to review performance by comparing actual results with target results. And if they have been met, that's fine. You need to define next targets. If not met, you need to take action plan, whether training is required for the employee so that he can achieve target in future, or defining future targets, that is called action plan. So there are four steps involved in performance assessment. First, you need to set a targets. So at the start of the period, management and employees should agree on which goals and targets the employee is going to work. I mean, employee should be agree with the targets. If he is not willing for the targets, that those targets will not be met. These usually include areas that the employees need to improve, so that if he is lacking something, he can ask the management to provide that. targets that link to the overall business goals, and the employee targets should be linked with organization objective. And development and training targets that will benefit the employees and therefore increase motivation. And it is important that employee understand and agree to those targets. If he is not agreeing, he will not be willingly working, so targets will not be met. If they do not buy into me, not agree, not willing with those targets, they will not put any effort in accomplishing the goal set. Especially if they don't feel that targets are achievable, this can lead to demotivation, even result into employee staff turnover as well. So after setting the targets, if employee is working, you have to monitor whether he is working as per planned or not. So during the period, the manager should monitor employees' performance and provide regular feedback if he is not working properly. If he is even working properly, provide him positive feedback, so it will create more motivation. So managers can offer to rewards for good performance and support and help where it looks as though that the employee is failing to meet their goals. And at the end, you need to review. What is mean by review? Comparing actual performance with planned targets. At the end of the period, the managers and employees will usually have a formal appraisal where they discuss the employee's performance and investigate how successful the employee has been meeting the pre-agreed targets. But after that, you have to make action plan. If the actual are not as per target, what extra employee have to do, whether he is required any training, that is action plan. Or if he has achieved, then defining target for the next period. So the manager and employees then agree on the new targets that will set for the coming period. So these are the 4 steps involved in performance assessment. Set targets. Employee should agree to the targets. During working, manager should monitor whether he is working properly and providing feedback. Review at the final, he should compare actual results with targeted. And then action plan, mean employee and managers both should agree targets for the future period. So performance assessment is done. Now we are moving towards performance appraisal. Checking performance of individual for promotion purpose or increasing pay purpose. Or checking effectiveness of individual. Appraisal is normally a formal process by which the progress, performance, results, and sometimes personality of an employee are reviewed and assessed by the immediate superior who will appraise performance, your line manager. Results, personality, progress, performance will be assessed. Purpose of appraisal. What are the purpose of appraisal? Individual employee point of view mean what are the benefits to employee? Benefits to employee for performance appraisal. Provide a basis for remuneration for the coming period. Mean through this, he will realize whether his pay is going to increase or not. If not increasing, he will realize why it's not increasing. Ensuring that work of particular merit is recognized or not. He has performed as per merit or not, as per target or not. Providing a forum for the employee to voice concern about dissatisfaction in the work areas, mean he can highlight problem. If he has not met the target, he can highlight issues. Establish of what is expected of the individual in the coming period and how the employee will be assessed by the business. Mean proper feedback will be provided to the employees. Identification of training and development needs. Mean what extra skill he is needing, that can be highlighted through performance appraisal. And determination of future employment of the individual, whether he will work on the similar level or to the next level, that will be decided through performance appraisal. What are the benefits for the organization or for employer? Through performance appraisal, monitoring of human resources selection process against results. Has the organization been hiring right people or not? mean if he has performed better, this means organization has appointed right person. Mean organization recruitment process was effective. What are the benefits for organization? Identification of the best candidates for promotion or early retirement. Mean through performance appraisal, organization can decide whether we should promote this employee or not. Identification of problem or difficulties within the job that had been previously realized. Mean problems relating to employees can be identified. If in previous performance appraisal he defined any problems, so in current performance appraisal, you will be able to identify whether those problem has been eliminated or not. Helping to formulate the training plan, mean if an employee is having skill gap, so it will help to highlight what the training required for the employee. Implementing to formulate human resource plan. Mean if employees are working properly, this means we don't need further human resource. If they are not working properly, this means either we should retain this employee through training or we need to appoint, recruit new human resource. Improvement of communication between managers and subordinates, and through formal performance appraisal, both managers and employee will sit together, and when they discuss things with each other, there will be improved communication, improved relationship that will increase motivation of the employees. How the performance appraisal process goes. First, you need to identify criteria for assessing performance. Mean what things you gonna check in performance appraisal: output, timing, personality, communication, routines, holidays. And then you need to produce a appraisal report. Mean what are the actual results? And then there should be interview between line manager and the employee, where they both will discuss whether the targets have been met or not. If not met, manager will realize to the employee, explain to the employee where he is lacking. And then agreed conclusion and action plan. But first you need to identify criteria. So what's the process? Identify the criteria for assessment. Mean what things, what targets that will be checked during performance appraisal. So this involves examining the corporate plan of the business and deciding what targets should be set for employees in order to help the business meet its objective. It is usually based upon job analysis, job requirement, and performance standards and person specification. I mean, these targets are relating to job design, job analysis, and person specification. And then you need to produce appraisal report, a report where you have defined the actual results and in other column target, so that both manager and employee can compare and discuss. The manager will then prepare an appraisal report detailing the appraisee performance in an agreed criteria. Sometimes the appraisee will also write a report. Means sometimes manager asks the employee, okay, you can prepare your target achievement report by yourself. So we will discuss with each other. So in some organizations, staff are expected to perform self-appraisal, mean by themselves, with the managers reviewing the output, and you will submit that report to the manager, and then manager will see whether you have prepared it accurately or not, because he's also having information. So while it serves the manager time, employees may find it difficult to be truly honest with themselves about their strengths and weaknesses, but there are chances employee will highlight their strengths more rather than weaknesses. But if they are preparing proper, it can save manager's time, because otherwise manager have to prepare for all employees if there are so many employees in the organization. So first you need to define criteria. Then manager or employee himself has to produce appraisal report, and then there should be appraisal interview, mean formal discussion on report between manager and employee, where manager will highlight issues if performance is not met as per target, or provide positive feedback to the employee if performance has been met. Employee will highlight his problem. If he need any support from the management, he will highlight that. So the manager will usually interview the appraisee mean employee, allowing an exchange of views about the appraisal reports along with discussion and agreement on action points, training and targets for the coming period. The effectiveness of the interview will depend upon the skill of the superior conducting the interview. And the interview are of three types: tell and sell, tell and listen, and joint problem solving. What is tell and sell? This is one-way approach where manager just talking, and employee is just listening. But he is not only talking, he is providing explanation. If an employee hasn't performed in any area, he is explaining so that employee can understand properly. I mean, in this way, suppose this is manager and this is employee, only he is talking. What is tell and listen? Both will talk. I mean, employee will also provide explanation, justification. If anything is not performed as per target, he will provide justification, he will provide explanation, he will highlight the problem he has faced during the work. And what is a joint problem solving? In joint problem solving, instead of manager speaking, only employee will speak because he has prepared the performance report by himself. So he will speak, mean manager will allow employee, okay, you explain whether you have performed properly. If not performed, what was the reason? So tell and sell. The appraiser adopt the strategy of a salesperson, mean trying to realize the other person what went wrong so that he should know he hasn't performed properly. So trying to persuade and convince the subordinates that the appraisal is fair and they can and must change in certain ways. It is a one-way communication system. And tell and listen in highlighting employee problem as well as allowing him to explain to justify his position. So the appraiser listen to the job holders perception of their job and their problems, expectation and aim, and doesn't dominate the interview. As it is important to listen to the subordinates and be prepared to changes and evaluation in the light of new evidence, this method is likely to more effective because you are not just explaining the issues, you are allowing the other people to justify his position. And what is joint problem solving? That represents a shift in emphasis from the first two methods. The appraiser uses many social skills to encourage the interview to do a self-assessment, admit their own problems, and suggest solutions, with the appraiser acting as a coach and counselor. I mean, he will just provide a solution. The report is prepared by the appraisee and he will explain the report. So what is the process of performance appraisal? First, you need to identify the criteria. Next, you need to produce appraisal report. And then there should be appraisal interview, either tell and sell, tell and listen, or joint problem solving. And then there should be follow up, conclusion, and action plan. I mean, after interview, they both will sit together. If things have not done as per the expectation, then whether further training is required and what to do next, they will agree with each other. If things has done as per expectation, they will set future targets. This involves giving out the results of the appraisal, monitoring the progress of the action plan, carrying out agreed action on training and development, and giving regular feedback. What are the benefits of performance appraisal for the employee and for the employer? It provides a formal system for assessing their performance and potential of employees with the view of identifying candidates for promotion. It can realize the employer whether this employee is a good candidate for promotion or not. What are the benefits for employer, for the organization? They can check through performance appraisal whether we can promote this employee or not. It provides a system for identifying ways of improving competence of employees. We'll highlight problem areas. Employee will speak his problem. So management can highlight whether we need to improve his competence through training or not. It is a valuable system for human resource planning and ensuring that employees are ready for promotion, filling management job vacancies that arise. It can help HR department whether they can appoint person from outside the organization or existing employee can be promoted or moved towards new job vacant. And it is a well-managed communication can be improved between managers and staff. Obviously, they will work, sit together, discuss things. So there will be good communication that result into good relationship between management and employees. What are the benefits for the employee? It's not for employer, it's for the employee. The employee get feedback about his performance at work. A formal appraisal system offers the employee an opportunity to discuss future prospects and ambitions. He can think about his future progress. Appraisal interview may be used as a basis for considering pay and reward. Through this, employee will be in a position to realize if his pay is not increasing, why it is not increasing. If his pay is increasing by such percentage, so what was the reason behind this? An appraisal can be used to identify agreed measures for further training and development, and through appraisal, employee can highlight whether he is required more training development or not. He can meet his training development need through performance appraisal. There are some problems, barriers in appraisal that organization need to avoid. Who has defined these barriers, problems in appraisal process? There is a writer called Lockett. What are the barriers? Appraisal as a confrontation. What is this? If the appraiser is biased, he is just putting his views on the appraisee, not listening to him, adopting only tell and sell approach. So this will be a appraisal as confrontation problem. He should always adopt at least tell and listen approach rather than tell and sell. There should be two-way communication. So what is appraiser as confrontation? Differing views regarding performance. Feedback is a subjective, a manager is biased, not fair. Feedback is badly delivered, not properly delivered. He is not listening to other, adopting tell and sell approach. Assessment is based on yesterday's performance, not on the whole year. If an employee has done something wrong on the last day of the year, and you have highlighted only that point rather than he has performed very good throughout the year. So this will be called appraisal as confrontation, barrier problem. You have to look for the performance as a whole year rather than for one particular day. And disagreement over prospects and the solution if the appraisee was not agreeing with the targets and you have imposed those targets. So this is not a good performance appraisal method. Performance appraisal as judgment. mean one-sided process. You are not allowing other person to explain his position, explain his problems. So appraisal is seen as a one-sided process where the manager talks and decide. Appraisal is imposed. Mean you have imposed the targets and you are not listening to others. Appraisal as chat, like informal way. You are sitting in a cafe and asking the employees how you have performed, how things are going. I mean, it should be formal process rather than informal, so that employee should realize, okay, I can highlight problems properly. I can get support from the management. So lack of a will from the either party because it is informal, an unproductive conversation, and no outcome set. Appraisal as bureaucracy. What is bureaucracy? Bureaucracy means formal system where you have listed down the points and just checking, okay, this met or not, this met or not, this met or not, this met or not. If it's not met, you are not checking why it's not met. So if you are appraising through very formal process, mean just box ticking, so that will not effective performance appraisal. So a traditional ceremony, no purpose of worth, simply a box ticking exercise. Appraisal as an annual event, you are just appraising as an annual event. Okay, we need to appraise every year. What are the problems you are not highlighting? What could be the action? What could be the training required? You are not highlighting. So this will not be effective performance appraisal. So our traditional ceremony, just like bureaucracy, no real focus on goal for the coming year, simply a way of finishing off because there was a policy through your superior, like you have to appraise performance of your employee every year. And you are just doing as per policy, not in proper manner, not considering the importance of performance appraisal. And appraisal as unfinished business, for a frustration as limited time appraisal and no belief that issues will follow up mean you are just checking and not taking any action plan further. So these are the issues that Lockett have identified that should be avoided during performance appraisal. So how to overcome the barrier in performance appraisal? Make sure there is a system of follow-up and feedback, agreement between employees and managers, agreed action plan. Manager should measure any training and development agreed. And more generally, best practice for appraisal is given by the 4Fs. What are the 4Fs? Appraisal should be done by the firm. Mean manager should be willing to discuss negative as well as a favorable aspect of the performance. It should be based on factual results rather than any guesswork. It should be fair process and should be done on regular basis, means should be frequent rather than 1 year you have appraised the performance and next 2 years you haven't done it. On 4th years you are again performing appraisal. No, how to overcome barrier by adopting 4Fs. It should be from firm, highlighting both positive and negative aspects. It should be based on factual results, should be fair, mean no biasness, and should be frequent, mean done on regular basis. Evaluating the effectiveness of performance appraisal mean how we can evaluate whether performance appraisal was effective or not. Calculating the cost and benefit. Obviously, appraising performance requires some time as well as cost. So you need to see whether performance appraisal benefit are more than its cost. If benefits are more, then performance appraisal will be effective. If you are spending money and time on performance appraisal but not getting proper benefit, I mean, not promoting the employees, not increasing their pay, not increasing motivation among employees, not highlighting future action plan, this means this performance appraisal is not effective. You are just wasting time and money. How we can evaluate effectiveness of performance appraisal? Monitoring performance result to see if they have been improved. If after performance appraisal, there is a change in behavior of employee, this means performance appraisal is effective. Checking the uptake, training and development opportunities. Mean if training development opportunities have been highlighted for the employee, performance appraisal was effective. Asking appraiser and praises of their opinion on the process, mean if it's done through two-way communication, then it will be effective. And review of other indicators such as staff turnover figure that is too high or too low could indicate a problem in the organization. Mean through performance appraisal, you can also review staff turnover. Mean you can highlight why staff left the organization, why they are not satisfied. Then performance appraisal will be effective so that you can eliminate those problem areas so that staff turnover should kept low. So when performance appraisal will be effective, when you are considering cost benefit analysis, when performance appraisal result into improvement of performance, when training and development opportunities have been highlighted, when it is done through two-way communication, and when you have identified staff turnover issues. More generally, Lockett argued that the appraisal process should be monitored to ensure its relevance, fairness, serious intent, cooperation, and efficiency. In how you need to monitor the appraisal process. Relevance, does the system have a useful purpose and it is relevant to the need of both organization and individual? In performance appraisal process should be relevant to the organization need and well individual needs. It should be fairness. Is there reasonable objectivity and standardization of criteria throughout the organization? There should be serious intent from the management. Is the management committed to the system or has it simply been trusted to them HR department? Do the appraiser have training and interviewing and assessment techniques? If he is not trained enough how to appraise performance, then there is no serious intent. He should be trained. He should know how to do proper performance appraisal. The interview technique should be adopted. Tell and listen rather than tell and sell. And there should be cooperation from both sides, appraiser as well as appraisee, so that if appraisee is highlighting any issues that should be solved. If appraiser is highlighting issues, the appraisee should try to solve it. And there should be efficiency, mean it is costly and difficult to administer and does it time consuming compared to the value of its outcome, mean we need to check cost benefit as well. What is staff turnover? What is staff turnover? Frequent in and out of staff is called staff turnover. And there are three categories of staff turnover, mean why staff leave the organization due to three reasons. Discharge. Discharge mean management have dismissed the employees. Why? He was not working properly. Or due to survival of business, if you are cutting staff, you have redundant the staff, so that will be called discharge staff turnover. Unavoidable means staff leave the organization due to some unavoidable circumstances, like a female got married. After married, they don't need to work because their husband are working, they are earning huge money, so female think they need to be stay as a housewife, so they will leave their organization. These are unavoidable circumstances, natural issues. Moving houses, obviously you will shift your job near to your house. Illness or death. Due to this, there will be staff turnover. Due to illness, if any person is unable to work, he is not healthy enough to work, so he will leave the job. Or there could be some avoidable issues. Staff are leaving the organization due to lower pay, due to poor working condition, due to problematic relationship with managers, boss, or colleague. But these are avoidable issues that can be resolved. If these are issues related to any organization need to resolve them. But there are some unavoidable issues. Due to this, staff turnover normally happen, cannot be avoided due to unavoidable issues. Or due to discharge. Obviously, if an employee is not working properly, you will dismiss him. So from records, the staff turnover can be calculated by dividing either the total separations, those leaving the organization, and total replacement by the average number in the workforce. Mean how staff turnover can be calculated. So staff turnover can be calculated left employees number divided by total employees into 100. Suppose last year 40 employees left out of 1000. So into 100, what is the result? 4% is the staff turnover. The process of staff appraisal and assessment should highlight any causes of dissatisfaction, find solution, remedy them so that staff turnover can be reduced. Mean during performance assessment, performance appraisal, manager should highlight the issues relating to staff turnover so that any action plan can be implemented to reduce this. If you are not highlighting issues, you will not be able to control staff turnover. If you are not able to control staff turnover, your organization will be disturbed. Your customer will be disturbed. Your processes will be disturbed. Because for new employees, you have to train them, and training requires time as well as cost. So chapter ended. Moving towards questions. Feedback should typically only be provided to employees at the end of each period, when their performance over the entire period can be discussed. No, during work, we should also provide them feedback. Which of the following is an objective of the appraisal process to an employer? It enables them to identify underperforming employees for punishment.
No.
We are not running a school to punish the students. It helps the business to recruit the best possible employees.
Uh,
No,
I, no,
it
sir.
will help the business to realize whether they have appointed the employee, mean their recruitment process was effective or not. It helped to identify employees' skill gap. Obviously, you will highlight through appraisal, employee will explain where he is lacking so that you can identify further development and training needs. It reinforces management authority over employees. Mean you are going to employ your authority over
no,
employees.
no,
No,
sir.
C option is
C
applicable.
option.
Seems logical. Number 3. L is currently being appraised by her manager C. C has told L that her performance has been poor during the year and explained why. L and L disagreed and explained the reason that she has been unable to meet her target. C therefore amended her appraisal score to satisfactory.
Uh,
Which type of appraisal interview is L having?
uh, Tell and listen.
Tell and listen, yes, because he has listened to him. Number 4. As part of a regular appraisal, a manager has stated that one of his employees is strongly disliked by all her co-workers. Which aspect of appraisal best practice is the manager failing to display? Calmness, fairness, frequency of appraisal, or factual discussion?
Uh, I think it's I don't know, sir. This one I don't know.
As part of regular appraisal, a manager has stated that one of his employee is strongly disliked by all her co-workers. All co-workers? No, there couldn't be any person that is disliked by all co-workers. So this is not based on facts. This is not based on factual discussion.
So it will be.
Because you cannot provide evidence for this. If you are talking about something during appraisal process, you should have evidence.
Yes, sir.
Might be 1, 2 disliking, but not all. And based on 1, 2, you cannot say all disliking. Number 5, J has recently undergone an appraisal interview where he was told that his attitude at work was excellent and that he was pleasant to work with. What type of employee performance measurement is J appraisal focused on, quantitative or qualitative?
Sir, qualitative.
Qualitative because attitude rather than number of units produced or time taken.
Yes, sir.
Number 6, GHF is a large company which is currently undertaking an appraisal of the performance of its employees. Many employees have complained that the outcome of their appraisal had no link to the pay rise or reward that they received. According to Lockett, what aspect of a successful appraisal process appears to be missing? An employee complained that their outcome are not linked to the pay rise or reward. Relevance, serious intent, cooperation, efficiency.
Sir, I think it's serious intent.
Serious intent, exactly. And this chapter has also completed. Hopefully, in next class, we will cover the remaining 2 chapters.
So when is the next class?
When is the next class? Good question. Next class will be on Monday.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Yes, sir.